My hands wouldn't stop shaking when the flight attendant crouched down beside my seat and whispered, "Do you have any medical training?" "I'm a nurse." I told her that. "Don't react. Don't look around. Just follow me to the back when I stand up." She straightened and walked calmly toward the rear galley like nothing happened. I waited a few seconds, then followed. There was a man lying across 3 seats in the last row, late 50s, gray-faced, completely still. 2 other attendants were hovering over him, their movements controlled but tight, the kind of controlled that means barely. "He's been unconscious for 6 minutes, one of them said. "Pulse is there but weak. Breathing is shallow." I knelt beside him and started assessing. His lips had a faint blue tinge. "Oxygen saturation?" I asked. They had a portable kit. It read 81%. That number hit me like cold water. We were at 35,000 feet with 2 hours left to the nearest major airport. The lead attendant leaned in. "The pilot is aware. He's asking if we need to divert." That decision was suddenly mine to shape. If I said yes and I was wrong, the airline diverts. Hundreds of people miss connections, and this man wakes up fine and embarrassed. If I said no and I was wrong, he dies in seat 34C while I kneel next to him. I asked for the medical kit and started going through it. Aspirin, a basic airway kit, a defibrillator, some IV supplies, not much. I had him on supplemental oxygen within 90 seconds and kept monitoring. His color wasn't improving the way I needed it to. A few rows up, passengers had noticed. I could see people craning their necks, whispering to each other. A man near the window was filming on his phone until an attendant quietly asked him to stop. Someone was crying softly near the front, though I couldn't tell if it was related. Then his oxygen climbed slightly, 83%. I watched it. It held. I asked the attendants to check if anyone else on board had medical training. They came back with a retired paramedic from the front of the plane. He made his way back, took one look, and we worked out an assessment together without needing many words. The kind of shorthand that comes from years of emergency training. "He's not coding," the paramedic said quietly, "but he's not stable." His pulse started shifting, irregular, then steadier, then irregular again. I kept talking to the man even though he was unresponsive, partly because patients sometimes hear more than we think, and partly because it kept me grounded. His wallet had fallen near the seat. A photo of 2 teenage kids was visible through the plastic window. I didn't look at it again after that. The lead attendant came back. "Pilot needs an answer. We're approaching a decision point for the divert." I looked at the saturation monitor. 86% now. Still low, but climbing. Rhythm was settling. His color had shifted from gray to something closer to pale, which is better. Everything in me wanted to say, divert immediately, cover myself, eliminate the risk. But clinically, he was responding. "Keep our current route," I said, "but have emergency services ready the moment we land. And if anything drops in the next 20 minutes, we reassess." The paramedic nodded. The attendant related. I didn't move from that row for the rest of the flight. Every few minutes I checked his pulse, watched his color, monitored the readout. The paramedic stayed too, and we took turns, so neither of us burned out. The man regained partial consciousness about 40 minutes later, confused, disoriented, but breathing on his own and responding to his name. When we landed, paramedics were waiting at the gate. They took over and wheeled him out. One of them looked at me and said, "Good call keeping altitude." Diverting to the regional we passed would have had him waiting 40 minutes for a cardiac unit. I sat back in my seat after everyone else had filed off. The plane was quiet and empty. My hands had finally stopped shaking, but it took a while to convince myself to stand up. I found out 2 days later he'd had a cardiac event. He survived. He went home.